and experts who can predict trends and make the right call. With me, Manisha Gupta, only on ET Now.
You've joined us on Starting Up. Now, a common grouse amongst the social enterprise sector is the availability of micro debt. That is funds anywhere between 10 to 40 lakhs that typically help these enterprises get off the ground. Well, two startups are working around this and looking to build a community lending model. Dhwani Desai caught up with Rangde and Milap. Here they are.
Financial bodies across the world have been trying to unearth the hidden potential in lending to individuals at the bottom of the pyramid. Mohammad Yunus and the Grameen Bank has no doubt been a role model to the growth of the microfinance sector in India. But even with the MFIs attaining scale, the jury is still out on whether the microfinance model is the best one in India to reach out to the unbankable borrower.
Sourcing of funds became an issue as far as the MFIs were concerned. They had to borrow at substantially high rates of interest from banks. The problem really started when there happened to be defaults. People felt that the MFIs were more like your Shylocks of Shakespeare, exploiting this poor class of people.
One potential alternative to the microfinance model is community lending, and Rangde is the first such venture in the space, a non-profit founded by Ramakrishna in Chennai in the year 2008, which lends funds at 15.33% as compared to 28% offered by MFIs, lending primarily to entrepreneurs like potters or zari workers who in many cases run single-man enterprises.
Unlike a traditional microfinance institution, where they raise capital from banks and other funding agencies, we raise capital from individuals and corporate CSR funds.
Their model, a simple one, where unlike the MFIs, which source their funds from banks at high interest rates, funds here are sourced from individuals, hence considerably bringing down the rate of interest. These individuals are willing to make such grants at a meager interest rate of 3.6%. The remaining 11.7% interest rate is split between the amount Rangde keeps for itself for operational expenditure and the 9% that goes to intermediary NGOs or MFIs, who are the real touch points for the end borrowers. Through their website, a person can choose to make that investment towards the entrepreneur of his choice. They can also invest as little as 100 rupees and are repaid either monthly or weekly. The key for Rangde is getting the back end in place, one which ensures that the interests of all the stakeholders are looked into. Another startup in the community lending space is Milap, a for-profit entity founded by Saurabh Sharma and Anuj Vishwanathan in 2010. Before setting up Milap, the two spent almost a year working with the government to structure laws that allow both NRIs and foreigners to invest through their model. Access to foreign funds is their key differentiator, and they provide loans at 12 to 18%. The funding here going towards not just entrepreneurs, but anyone in need of the funds for health, water, sanitation or vocational training. Milap raises capital from individuals and HNIs, but the biggest share of their capital comes from corporates. The donors or investors here can expect 100% of their principal to be returned, but they get zero interest. 7% of the funds is kept by Milap for admin and operational costs, while the remaining 11% is used by the partner NGOs or MFIs.
So a lot of times the loans are dispersed in the form of coupons and vouchers, or the loan is given directly as a fees to the vocational training provider or the school to where the education is happening. So this ensures rightful utilization, and this also ensures that the loans are given out at very low interest rates.
With investors or donors in both these models getting zero or negligible rate of interest, the key question here is whether the model is one that lends itself to scale.
So we definitely need to have more of runways and Milaps. But the whole issue is now of scalability. How many people are here willing to say that I'm going to give you 1 crore rupees and you're going to use it for this particular purpose and I want nothing in return? Today, most of India's philanthropy, especially if we're talking from industry, is more egotistic. We would like to use this money to make sure that my own name comes out saying that I'm running a certain fund, I'm running a certain organization. Presently, the models are working very well, but once this source of funding dries up, that's when the problem will come.
While there's no doubting a great start Milap and Rangde have gotten off, the amount of funds being invested is negligible when you compare it with the MFI sector. For scaling up this model further, community lenders might well want to evaluate a hybrid model where funds from both banks and individuals come together. A model that will not just get the investors a higher interest rate, but also see more smiles on the faces of the end borrower.
If you would like to get in touch with Milap or Rangde, you can visit this particular website. Let's take a quick breather here on the show, but coming up.
The big handicrafts opportunity and how technology might help startups in this sector scale their businesses.
This show brought to you by Toshiba Laptops. Be ready for more.
Never to make enormous single stock or single country bets. It's going to become increasingly difficult to lump emerging markets globally into one type of asset class. It's going to be a fantastic opportunity to really dig deep and express the trades.
Okay, I'm really disappointed. I've seen the Pepsodent Dishum film.
Candy खाते हो, chocolate खाते हो, ये खाते हो, वो खाते हो, सड़ जाएंगे, दांत सड़ जाएंगे.
All in all, I think it doesn't work. Really, what doesn't work in the film? I mean, message comes through. I don't like the acting. Nothing works in the film. But I'm willing to bet on this movie. Just put it on there. If this doesn't work, then you're going to tell them to us, get the share of the business. Therefore, before they do all that, if this doesn't work, I'll get out of the advertisement. That's the deal.
Pepsodent का काम है ना?
Okay, if it doesn't work, you know what to do. But if it does work, I'll buy you a bottle of champagne.
Brought to you by Hyundai Ubercool i20, now with Bluetooth connectivity. Birla Sun Life Insurance, wealth with protection solutions. Cara Refresh, face refresh karne ka specialist.
You've joined us on Starting Up. Now, handicrafts entrepreneurship in the country is as old as human civilization itself. But yet, unfortunately for all the artisans here in India, as talented as they are, they've had to face a series of difficulties when it comes to scaling up their business. Well, a bunch of startups have identified that as an opportunity and have decided to then explore this space for these artisans. Surbhi Goyal tracks that trend for us.
Intricate designs, hours of labor, yet no desirable return on investment. Indian handicrafts have been subject to discrimination for over hundreds of years. But a slew of startups have taken a step towards artisans' empowerment, and it's been a long time coming. But finally, the Indian handicraft space is ready for a facelift. A startup creating an impact in this space is Rural Opportunities Production Enterprise, or ROPE. The firm provides employment to over 500 rural artisans, helping them meet the ever-increasing global demand.
We train the artisans in making these new products which we design together with our buyers, and then employ them to continuously produce these items as per the internationally accepted quality standards.
ROPE has made significant progress. Its products reach out to people across cities in the country, and they project revenues of $1 million this year. Another unique play in the handicraft space is Craftsvilla, an e-commerce play that both sources and manufactures handicrafts in India, which are then sold online to a global market.
If you look at handicraft industry as such, it's scattered across villages in India, and there's a very fragmented supply chain. Most of them are not able to take their products to urban India. That's basically is the platform we are building so that we can take their products globally.
Besides supporting rural artisans, these startups provide a wider market reach and accelerate of their produce, which otherwise is a far-fetched dream for most of the rural artisans. And even though maintaining a sustainable backend is still a challenge for these portals, they're working on better strategies to reach out to urban consumers.
Apurv is another interesting Bangalore-based handicraft-oriented startup that believes in using the power of stories to sell their products. Their unique strategy has worked so far at least, and Apurv already has over 1,000 customers clicking since June 2010.
What is happening in the Indian market and even globally is that people don't understand the value of the products, and unless and until you educate them, which we are trying to do through storytelling of that particular product, that is the kind of education that we are embarking upon to our customers. Secondly, what is happening is that there are a lot of fakes that are floating around in the market. So there is a kind of disconcern among the customers if the product that they are paying for is actually authentic or it has been machine manufactured.
Every product has a story associated with it, and they also have a theme shop online which helps give the user a richer experience. Apart from Apurv and Craftsvilla, there are other startups like Shoppo.in which are crowdsourcing handmade artifacts from across India. The opportunity no doubt is attractive, but there are a number of challenges that these startups will no doubt have to tackle first.
Primary challenge is that people want to touch and feel, and we need to innovate how we can bring in visual touch points to e-commerce customers via offline events.
The Indian handicrafts industry is today pegged at $7 billion and enjoys a growth rate of more than 15%, with major exports going to global markets like the USA and UK. It's little wonder that investors too are interested in this space. But in their view, there are certain things that startups will have to get right if they'd like to taste success in the long term.
First, fix the back end. Second, create capacity and make them understand quality. Third is acquire customers, preferably also having a retail presence. And lastly, involve the artisan community in the enterprise in some manner, in the sense that they should either have share ownership or some part of profits.
With the e-commerce and m-commerce industry only bringing down barriers, artisans working on handicrafts in rural India can breathe easier. For he knows that innovation technologies in other parts of the world have the power and potential to propel his business to far greater heights.
And with over 80 million users logging onto the internet here in India, you have to agree the opportunity for these artisans is only endless. With this, we'll wrap it up here on our Independence Day special. The entire Starting Up team would like to salute the entrepreneurs of this country. Have a great Independence Day, and hey, before we go, as we always say, remember there's never a better time than now to go out there and start up.
Brought to you by Franklin Templeton Investments. Nivea Fresh Active Deodorant. Stay fresh in every action. Fiamma Devils Men's Bathing Bar and Shower Gel, voted Product of the Year.
It is not today's gain, but tomorrow's valuation that will meet your expectations. Get a peek into the immediate future with focused market cues. Get unique trading ideas from trusted market authorities. Catch 3 stocks that shall outperform the market, and get notice of a game-changing strategy that can completely transform the sector outlook. Make the most of the expert forecast with Markets Tomorrow.
Brought to you by Birla Sun Life Insurance, wealth with protection solutions. Reliance 3G. Switch to Reliance for the fastest 3G experience.
Hello and welcome to a brand new show of Markets Tomorrow. I'm Nikunj Dalmia. Over the next 30 minutes,